Okay, so the next topic is a little bit of hot take thing. You wanna kick that one off?
Yeah, so Mike Matei of Cinnemassacre. Let me pull this tweet up actually. Um, so he did a little hot take tweet and it pretty much caught fire yesterday. So the tweet says, retweet if you agree. If you use the rewind feature that's now standard on many NES and SNES games available on Switch, you did not, by any stretch of the imagination, beat the goddamn game. So basically, the new rewind feature, which I want to say I first saw on the Mega Man collections, he's saying if you use these, you didn't really beat the NES game, and people went crazy. I feel like people took a weird direction with this.
Mm-hmm.
There were some people that were like, well, what about accessibility and people with disability? Like, that's not really what he's after. He's just saying, like, you didn't really beat the game.
Mm-mm.
And I wanted to bring this up so bad because we are completely different gamers. Like, we're from different eras.
Yeah,
And I just think to your favorite game, Punch Out,
yeah.
would it have been your favorite game if you could just rewind every 10 seconds or
No.
every 20 seconds?
No,
Like you were saying, beating Mike Tyson is like one of your best accomplishments.
it's one of my greatest gaming accomplishments ever. Like, dude, that took me 6 months to do.
Yeah.
Like, if I had I'll even go as far, like he stops there. I'll
Yeah.
even go as far as to say creating save states in games is cheating and not what it is. Because it's the same thing. Like, I knew people that, like, when I play a Mega Man level, I play the Mega Man level and I play it through. If I die, I go back like old school and start. There's people that were creating save points just like they would get to the boss, create a save point, and then go in and fight the boss.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not that you didn't beat that boss. Like, the true nature of what a Mega Man game is playing the level through. If you die, you go back. And I feel like, yes, you're experiencing the game, you're having a good time with the game, but you can't really notch that off your belt if you didn't beat it the way the game was originally played.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, listen, I could beat Ghosts and Goblins now. I got news for you. There ain't anybody I know that beat Ghosts and Goblins in the original format. Because
I was on Twitter.
You got to go through this hard ass game,
Oh yeah.
beat the devil, and then go back to level 1 and do it all through again, and then you beat the game. I don't know a single soul that's ever done that.
So he goes on. He adds another tweet. He goes, apparently some people took my last tweet as me telling them, quote, how to play their game, even though that wasn't even remotely related to what I was saying. If you want to use the replay feature, that is fine. There's a huge difference between beating a game and using replay. And yeah, I mean, I agree. The tweet did come off a little douchey. It did come out a little gatekeepy, but what he's saying basically is, beating a game legit and beating it with assistance, there's a definite difference in feeling. Like, you feel accomplished. I personally think, and I said this, I was talking to Jared, I think, on Twitter. I was like, you need this feature to beat a lot of NES games. They're super hard. And I don't think, if you put out a system like the NES nowadays, it would totally tank because the difficulty is just like stupid. And they were modeling, of course, after like arcades and, coin munchers and stuff like that. But
Well, okay, so let's put it in context. When I played the NES, when I was a kid,
yep.
I feel like kids today are a little bit more spoiled in the nature of they get games more frequently than I did as a kid. When I was a kid, I got games for Christmas and birthday, and that was pretty much it. Maybe I would get games if I got a good report card. But where I benefited from getting games was when I was 13 years old, I went to work for my grandfather, and I was getting paid every week. So I was taking that money, and I was buying video games.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then when I was 14 and 15, I worked for my grandfather during the summer times as well. Same thing. So I was buying games, but that's where my games came from. I didn't have the luxury. My parents, the only time they would buy me games were Christmas, birthday. And by the way, my birthday's 2 weeks after Christmas. So I basically I got games basically one time a year. Mm-hmm. And then if I graduated school, I got one game in the summertime. But that was it. It wasn't like I was swimming in games. So that being said, you played games over and over and over. And when you would spend more time trying to figure out and beat games. I feel like games today are super hand-holdy compared to when I was a kid. Like the original Legend of Zelda, the game was so hard because they don't tell you nothing. They drop you off, but give you a cave, give you a sword, go figure it out. That game took me and my cousins like a year and a half to beat, where we would just like draw maps and try to figure stuff out and try to remember where dungeons were and all that stuff. Like, because you weren't getting games all the time, you played what you had. And that's just basically what it was. Nowadays, like I said, I feel like kids, and spoiled's a bad word for it, but I don't know really another word to put in there. But kids are giving games more often nowadays than they were when I was a kid. So it makes it a little bit different in the spectrum of things. So that being said, when you got a hard game like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, that's all you played. Because that's all you had. You didn't have anything else. And then when you did get a new game 6 months later or whatever, then you played the hell out of that one, you know? So I think it's also, that's a relatively thing. But I feel like when I look back at the original Super Mario Brothers, right? Super hard game. When I look back at Super Mario Bros. 2, or I look back at Super Mario Bros. 3, these weren't games that we beat in a weekend. I beat Odyssey in a weekend. You don't do that.
5 hours.
Yeah,
6 hours.
Yeah, you didn't do that back then because A, the games were harder, and B, it was just like you had time to play them, but it was also like go outside and play. You know what I mean? Like the era was different than it is nowadays. So
gaming is so like disposal, like it's so like temporary nowadays. It's like people just want to play an indie game, play it for a few hours, and then be done with it forever. And I don't know. I feel like that's almost a disservice to the game itself. Now, I will be right up front. I do not enjoy playing the NES. That's kind of like where you and I differ. And it's because of the difficulty for me. And, you know, like Mega Man, I don't like that franchise because it's so damn hard. And we're not going to sit here and say, like, this is how you should enjoy your video games. Like, this is how you should play your video games. But all he's saying is there's a significant difference from someone who uses replay versus someone who plays it legit. And it's kind of like baseball. It's kind of like these guys who like use steroids back in the day. Like, yeah, you experienced the game, but there's an asterisk next to what you did. And I mean, replay, I've used it. I'm not a giant fan. Like, when you use replay, you really use replay. Like, you don't use it once or twice. You use it like every jump. And at that point, it's like the game's playing itself. Why not just watch a playthrough online or something like that?
Like, when I look at, like, let's just in this case, Mr. Dream would be the final fight. But when I look at that, like, the first minute and 30 seconds is if you get hit, you get knocked down. Dude, it took me, I would say, 3 months to be able to get through a match where I didn't get knocked down in a minute and 30 seconds. It took me forever to get to that point. That was the biggest accomplishment. Oh my God, I didn't get knocked down in the first round. Or I didn't get knocked down in the first 30 seconds. Minute and 30. Like, it was insanity how hard that game was. So if you're telling me if I go play the game now and I get hit first punch, I can rewind it and go, okay, let's try that again.
Yeah.
I get knocked down, I can rewind it and try it again. Like, you should blow through the games. You should make it so easy. Bald Bull does the bull charge. If you don't time it perfectly when to punch him in the stomach so he goes down and you miss him, oh, you know what? I could just rewind it because he knocked me down. I'll just rewind. It takes the game way out of perspective. Yeah. And I don't feel like it makes it as rewarding. Because I think that's why Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is so special to me. Because not that many people have beaten Tyson.
You feel like a boxer. You have to train, literally, to like
it was
beat the game.
Yeah, it was no easy feat. Like, it was literally like playing hour after hour. I mean, that's why to this day, I still have the code ingrained in my mind. 0073735963. I know that code. Put that code in, kids. It'll take you right to the final fight. Like, that's... You learn that because you do it over and over and over again. I feel like doing the rewind feature just totally diminishes what I was able to accomplish on my own, not having that feature. And, you know, so it just means the world to me that I really will. It doesn't matter to me. Listen, kids, you can have your little cheap wins. us old school gamers, that's why we're better.